Welcome to our show, Purpose Meets Prosperity. I'm your host, Julie Getzinger. I help ambitious professionals to realize their higher purpose so that they can live a more fulfilling life. I'm going to be interviewing different people who have followed their intuition down a path that others may have questioned or who thought it wouldn't work out for them. But it felt right to them. It felt like their purpose. It felt like their calling, and they kept at it, kept going towards it. And in doing so, it led to a path of prosperity. And prosperity to me is not just wealth in the terms of finances, but it's also joy. It's also love. It's abundance in all forms. So as we follow the path of purpose, that is the path to prosperity. The guests that I'm going to be interviewing, they are exhibiting that kind of life. So I want them to share some of the tips and things that kept them going down this path and also help them to turn their pain into their purpose. So the challenges, the struggles, the obstacles, they were able to allow that to propel them further towards their purpose, which led to this path of prosperity. If you enjoyed today's interview, please share it with people who you think could also benefit from watching it. And if you or someone you know would like to be a guest on our show, please fill out the application below. I hope you enjoyed today's interview. Welcome to Purpose Meets Prosperity. I'm your host, Julie Getzinger, and my mission is to help ambitious professionals to realize their higher purpose so that they can live a more fulfilling life. Today, we have special guest Rita Pamplin joining us. Welcome, Rita.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
So happy to have you here with us. I'm going to share some information about Rita before we get started with the interview. Rita is a bladder cancer survivor and the author of Dear Cancer, a collection of letters from one woman's fight. She is passionate about empowering women through the education of a little-known bladder cancer that she has survived. We're interviewing her today to learn how she has made her pain her purpose. So first of all, I would love for you to just share a little bit about your journey and when you first found out that you had cancer, and just take us back to that and what happened from there.
Yes. Well, in 2019, I was having some pain on my side, on my right side, and I thought it's my ovary. I should really go for my GYN exam, which was due anyway. And I thought it was just this pain goes on and then it goes off and then it goes on, and it's just like this stabbing pain. So you think of like a cyst as an ovary, something to do with your ovary, because my sister had like cyst on her ovaries and got them removed, and I thought it was all that stuff. So I made an appointment at the doctor's appointment, and she checked me and she said, well, it's not anything gynecological. There's no cyst. Everything is normal. I'm going to send you to a GI doctor, because they thought that I might have had diverticulitis, which is like little pockets in your colon that things can get stuck. And she thought maybe that's what's my problem. So that was a Monday. 2 days later, she got this appointment really quick for me. So 2 days later, I went to the GI doctor and she said, well, let's do a CAT scan to see about the colon and different things like that. So I ended up having the CAT scan done. Then I remember that was a Monday. This was Wednesday. Then Friday, I went back to her and she said to me, well, you don't have diverticulitis, but you have a tumor in your bladder. And I was like, what? Like what? And she said that could have been causing the pain. So immediately she had already called a urologist, got me in, said, we got to take care of this stuff, everything. So that following Friday, I had went to the gynecologist's office. But I remember when I left the GI's doctor's office, I remember the woman said to me, oh, well, I hope they caught it in time. And I was like, what? And I remember going out to the car, literally crying hysterically, because my daughter was graduating in 2 months from high school. And I was like, but I can't die. I can't die. Like, I can't die. And right away, cancer is like such associated with death. Even though there's so much advanced stuff now, it's still like that stigma that you have cancer and it's like a death sentence. So I went to my urologist and he did all these scans and tests and everything in his office. And a week later, I was having what was called a TURP, which is basically where they take a machine and go up and like cut the tumor out to basic, and that you go under and everything, because you wouldn't want to be awake for that. And I remember waking up screaming in pain because it's so painful. But they took the part of the tumor out and sent it out. That took weeks and weeks and weeks of trying to find out what was going on with it. They couldn't figure it out. They said maybe it's an infection. maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But I told the doctor straight up, I said, they found this tumor and I know it's already cancer, but they can't figure it out. So on frustration, about 3 weeks later, he said, I'm going to send it to Johns Hopkins in Maryland here to the doctor, the bladder cancer pathologist there, because we're not getting any answers. They're saying it's an infection. It could be this, it could be that. And I said to him, but I already know it's cancer. I felt it inside me. So he sent it to the pathologist. 2 days later, we got an answer that yes, it was bladder cancer. It was stage 1, non-invasive. So I did these treatments called BCG, which is where they put a chemo like in your bladder through a tube. And it's supposed to be like an immunotherapy stuff that's supposed to be able to kill the cancer. And you have to like lay still and then you're supposed to turn. It's kind of like you wash your clothes, how it spins. They want you to spin this chemical through your bladder.
So let me go back a little bit to the moment when you thought, like, I can't die. How do you go through life after you get that kind of news and those 3 weeks of waiting? How did you survive that time? Was there something that helped you get through that?
Not really. I mean, it was very devastating. So I cried in the car. I called a friend. I felt this need to run. I felt like this need to run, like I need to run away from this. I just wanted to run away.
Yeah.
And I remember I was driving home from this diagnosis, right? And I know this is the craziest things, right, that you think about yourself. But I thought to myself, but if I just ran into that pole over there, it would all be over. It would all be over. And I wouldn't have to tell my kids. I wouldn't have to do anything. It would just all be over. Like I literally had those thoughts of if I did something to myself, then I wouldn't have to go through what I'm going through and tell my children. That was my thing. I knew I had to tell my children, but I was in this like, but then something like stopped me and said, you need to be there for your kids. You need to be there for your kids. And that was my focus. And then the 3 weeks waiting was agonizing hell because every day I was like, I worried every day. Is it growing bigger? Is it spreading? Like, oh my gosh, I know I took the tumor out to test it, but is it coming back? Is it going to come back worse? Because bladder cancer is a very unknown cancer. It's not really like advertised. It's not one of the biggest cancers, but it is very, very, very evasive. And when you mess with the bladder and you literally irritate it, it pisses it off and it makes the cancer just go wild. So those 3 weeks were horrible for me. I kept calling the doctor like every day. Did you hear news? Did you hear news? I'm surprised I don't have a nervous breakdown because I was so nervous about it. And the kids took it kind of like sort of how kids take it. I mean, they were in their teenage years and whatever. They took it as they took it. And they
So
all
was
just
that
said,
part not as bad as you expected, telling the children?
yes,
Like that
yes,
wasn't as bad
yes,
as you expected?
yes, it wasn't as bad as I expected. I was worse off than they were.
Yeah.
They were like, Mom, you're going to be okay. Mom, you're going to be strong. But I think it was for them like a shield, like they were trying to shield themselves from it all. So they were trying to tell me it's going to be okay. You're going to be all right. You're going to knock this cancer out, like being very supportive and very strong for me. But I feel like it was a shield for them. They were just kind of like, I don't know. I want to talk to her about it, but I don't really want to talk to her about it over here. Like I want to put it over there and just say, yeah, Mom, you're going to be good. But I'm worried as hell over here, but not really expressing that. Probably not to make me feel more stressed than I already was.
And did you have
So-
support through this, like a support system through the hospital or some kind of support group that helps people when they're diagnosed?
I actually went to a cancer support group for a bit, and then COVID hit. Where people had a lot of different cancers, and I actually met a lady there who had ovarian cancer, and it went to her lungs or something, and so she has treatable cancer but not curable. So I met her and met other people and listened to their story and everything else. So that was very supportive for me. But then COVID came, and then you have isolation, and you can't really go anywhere, and you can't really talk to people. I met women in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 70s. Tons of women have it. And what it is that how we get UTIs and we have all kinds of stuff because we're women, okay? This bladder cancer, because I had a lot of UTIs, probably about the year before it all got discovered. And UTIs can mask the symptoms of bladder cancer. So you don't know you have it until, like most women will find blood in their urine. And then they go, oh my gosh, what is that? Yes, that is a sign of a UTI, but it's also a sign of bladder cancer. I was like always trying to be this supportive person in my own trauma because it helped me to help other people to survive it all. Because I don't know if I would have been able to do that if I hadn't been strong enough to help other people. And a lot of other people I were very grateful for, like my friendship and my like, hope everyone's feeling good today, have a blessed day, and just very positive in my own trauma, but helping everyone else,
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful that you stepped into that role even
Mhm.
while in the middle of the trauma and to get
Yeah.
into service like that. Wow. Like that. I'm getting a lot of chills on that. Just that
Yeah.
being in service, even in your pain.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
And
like pain turns into purpose. It does. And I had to have a purpose. I had to have something to block all of the things that were happening to me. I had to have something. And I thought, I'm such a people person. I love to talk. I will help anybody. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to talk to this person. And people appreciated it. They really did. So, yeah. Mhm.
why did you choose to write a book about it?
From my own healing, first of all, because I was writing letters to my cancer, not about it, but directly to it, because I was really pissed off most days about it.
Wow.
So you get mad, you get angry, you get sad, you get all the emotions. So I wrote the book because I was trying to like journal and I really wanted to write to it. So I was writing to it. And I had talked to a couple people and one author friend that I had already known and stuff, and the bladder cancer supporters and things like that said to me, you should really write a book. And I was like, a book about bladder cancer? Like, what? Should I? Because I've always wanted to be an author my whole life. And I've written poetry and little short stories. And then I was writing some mystery story in my late 40s because I wanted to be an author at 50, but that didn't happen. And then I thought, really? This could be a book? This could really be a book.
After we go through life's challenges, it can bring us to a place of wondering what's next for us and how we're meant to show up in the world now. We don't want our pain to have been in vain and often have a desire to help others through what we've just overcome ourselves. Maybe you want to write a book, speak on stage, or start a coaching business so that you can help others through their own journeys of greater self-discovery. If this sounds like you, I invite you to check out our retreat called The Retreat Where Purpose Meets Prosperity. We will be focusing on gaining greater clarity on our life's purpose and how our business can help to support that. We will start saying yes to those things that feel like a hell yes for us and learn to say no to those things that are no longer fit to who we are now and who we are becoming. To learn more, call or text Julie at 301-284-0789 or email her at julie@juliegetzinger.com. How did the relationship shift with the cancer as you wrote?
Well, at first I was just talking about it and talking about my journey, and I was very angry that I got it. Then as time went on and I was writing the story and knowing that I was going to help people, I kind of like thanked it in a way because it enlightened me to help others with this book that I was going to write that was going to help people that were survivors, caretakers, someone had passed away and someone was in grief, and needed to understand like what cancer patients go through. What do we go through? What happens to us? It was kind of like a spiritual awakening because I really got to the point where I said, you know what? But thank you, cancer, because now you've made me a different person. You've made me stronger. You've enabled me to write this book. You've enabled me to help people. I know that was kind of like weird because it was like, why would you thank cancer? It literally changed my life from being so angry to knowing that I had to help people and that this book was going to help people. And that's why I wrote it. It was basically not even for myself, even though it was therapy for me, but I wrote it for everyone else. I had a friend who told me, which I never even knew till like a month ago or something, that her mother died from retinal cancer and she had it, and then it went away and came back and she read my book and it helped her in her dying days. And I was like, wow, how amazing is that?
And this book will survive past your life experience as well. And it's a legacy that you're leaving behind to all the different people and the loved ones. And wow. And I witness in you bravery. I witness vulnerability. I witness leadership. I witness complete transformation.
Yes.
Oh, you've been through it. You've been through it.
I've been through it. And then my second book is Mended Body, Broken Soul, which is about the consequences of survival, which
Mm.
dealt with the chemo, the surgery, and like all the way through. That was kind of like, I
Mm.
guess, the second part of my journey
Mm.
to tell people this is reality. This is how it is. And I didn't sugarcoat anything. I just let it all out. I'm not one of those people that hides behind cancer or doesn't want to talk about cancer. Just wanted to let people know that this is what happened to me and this is what happened to me after the surgery and everything. So,
Wow.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's so important because there can be a lot of shame around it, or people just thinking they don't want to talk about it, they want to make people uncomfortable, but
Hmm.
just that ability to just share openly and honestly and vulnerably like that is so healing. Because most people think who've never had it, like, oh, once they get it out, then that's it. And you go on with your life. But like you said, there's a whole nother part of the
Right.
journey of what's
Right.
next. So how are you different now?
Well, I'm much stronger than I was. I had my whole bladder removed. I was very like just such a different person years ago. I wasn't like brave enough to stand up for myself. A lot of people control me. But now I'm like, no, I'm the boss and I'm my person and I'm going to stand up for myself. So then I really had wanted to make it into a documentary, right? So probably about a month ago, I had inquired about this production company. So I gave them my Dear Cancer book, thinking that they were going to be like, yeah, no, we don't want to do it. It's just a documentary about some girl with some letters, right? Now it's being written in a screenplay
Wow.
that is going to go into a movie because the woman literally said to me, but we have to make it like a story. So my letters are kind of weaved into this story that is truly amazing that this woman is doing for me. Like, I was blown away. I was like, my little letters are in this huge movie now, and I have the rights to it and everything. So there's no issue with that. But she's amazing. And she sent me the first 15 pages, like a rough outline of the screenplay. And it's just amazing. Like, I can't even wait for it to be done. So it's like, this is all supposed to have been happening for a long time. And I believe it. I believe that years ago was not my time. It was not the people. Now it's the time, it's the people, it's the place. And I feel like he blocks me from things that I'm not supposed to be doing, but then brings things to me that I need done.
Yeah, the intuition, you got the nudge, the hit that this is the book, writing a
Hmm.
book. And so that came to you, but the timing wasn't right yet. And like you said, it wasn't the right players yet. Because I think of our lives
Hmm.
like a movie and we get a vision and then we're like, that's mine. Like, I want that. I want that now. But it's
Hmm.
other life experience needs to happen first. And we don't always get to choose what that is.
Right.
Things happen.
Right.
And those things evolve into our purpose and the right people coming in at the right time. And now it's going to be this movie. And also your intention to serve and to help others with your
Right.
story is also
Hmm.
why I believe that God comes in to help facilitate that mission, because this is a big mission.
Oh, yeah. And that's why I think I've had such a rough time sort of writing the sisterhood books, because he's saying to me, but that's not what you're supposed to do right now. Don't worry about that. You're supposed to be over here focusing on your movie. Then this movie is going to help people because it's all an understanding about a woman who had cancer and wrote letters to herself. But it's kind of a bigger thing than that. But the basis of the movie is that I did it. And I wrote stuff in my roughest days, like my roughest awful days. I just wrote. And I always wanted to be a writer. And I think that, like you said, it's all in timing. It's all in timing. And I found like these great people who are extremely supportive. And everyone on their team loves the book, loves the concept. It's just been like an amazing journey. And I've sort of been on this euphoria for like several weeks about it because I'm like, wow, my book, like what?
Is being made into a movie. My book is being
Yeah.
made into a movie. And
And
witnessing yourself for your bravery and your
mhm.
trust.
Right. And it's like I'm opening my whole journey to the world, to people that I don't even know, but like I can help them because they'll be like, wow, that woman really went through a lot. Or that woman was really strong. Wow. And she thanked the cancer? Isn't that crazy? But it did me a favor because had I not gotten cancer, I was trying to write some other mystery story. And like I said, I've written short stuff and poetry and all that stuff my whole life. Had I not had cancer, there would be no book by Rita Pamplin, because I would have just been like, no, I can't do that. And I just would have given up. So it came to my life when I needed it. And I know that sounds so crazy because people are like, what? Because
I don't think it sounds crazy at all. I think it sounds divine.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like part of the plan. And
so I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And whatever he brings to me, he brings to me. So
and where can people find your books?
On Amazon.
On
Amazon.com. It's Dear Cancer by Rita Pamplin. And then there is the Mended Body, Broken Soul, which is about my second part of my journey from the surgery and beyond. And then Flying Free is the story dedicated to my mother about letting go.
Do you know my book is Free to Fly?
Is it really? Oh my God. Okay, cool. See, we have the same thing in common. And then Flying Free is basically dedicated to my mom being my guardian angel, which she always was, and kind of telling her in the final part of it that I'm okay and that she can go and she can help other people now. And she can take care of my daddy, and she can take care of, my brother died when he was 26. And so I said, Mommy, you can go. I'm giving you permission. You can go take care of them because I'm okay now. So it was kind of like letting go of grief and just flying free. Like she's able to fly free now. There's no restrictions. She doesn't have to be around me. But I said to somebody, but I know she's going to come back.
Of course.
And she does.
And now she's watching you and all, watching the movie and she's watching the production and everything. Like she wants to watch. She wants to be a part of this fun now.
And the screenplay should be done by end of September. But the casting director said to the lady, well, can you hurry up and do that? Because I really need to get some cool characters for this movie. This is really an awesome movie. And everybody else likes it too. So she said to her, and I said, oh, I'm really sorry that she's rushing you. She goes, oh, don't worry about it. I got you. So it might be sooner than that. So the screenplay should be done the end of September. And then, of course, then I have to meet with the production team and everything and get that all started. So I'm hoping by the new year that at least the short film is out and I can show it, take it to film festivals, because you can win awards. And it's a way for yourself to get noticed, because that's what the woman who's doing my screenplay also kind of did that for her book. And it's a way to get noticed, is to go to film festivals and to promote yourself. And that's why I'm kind of promoting my story and my life and the book now ahead of time. And I'm like, I don't even need anyone to market me because I'm already can talk myself. So it's fine. But
God is your marketer.
God's my marketer. That's true. Very, very much. Yes, he is. So, and that's a way to get it noticed. And guess what the name of the studio is? Angel Studios. Angel. So I'm like, should I really go with that one? And as you can tell, I like to talk. So.
Yeah, you do. I love it. I love it. I like to talk too. Talking is fun.
People are going to be like, oh my God, girl, shut up.
No, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yeah. I'm so glad that we got connected, and I'm going to put all the links below so people can find your books and follow you and check out the movie when it comes out. And I'm so grateful that you agreed to do this interview today and are sharing your story of strength and survival and thriving. I witnessed thriving. I witnessed joy. I witnessed alignment. I witnessed purpose. I witnessed freedom.
Right. And I think this was my purpose in life. And I keep saying to somebody, I'm trying to go a different direction and I'm not supposed to go that way. And I feel like this has always been my purpose, to help people. But I'm so glad I got to do this interview with you.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here and doing the interview today. Thank you to our listeners for being here. And I hope you feel inspired and check out her books. The link will be below and we'll let you know when the play comes out too, the screenplay.
Yeah. And I'll keep you posted on everything else too.
I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please consider liking it. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, go ahead and do that now. If you know of anybody else who could benefit from watching this video, share it with them too. And thanks for being here. I hope to see you soon. Bye.